Hello, my name is Sam Orchard and I am a comic artist and queer and trans person who lives in New Zealand. I've been drawing comics my whole life and write a webcomic called Rooster Tails, which is about my life, and I also do a comic series called Family Portraits, which is around talking to different queer and trans people and turning their stories into short comic pieces. I think it's really important to create stories that celebrate the wonderful differences that make up our communities and how difference is important and valuable and worth celebrating. So today I thought I would read from my very first issue of Family Portraits, which came out over 5 years ago, and this story is called Redraw, and it's about the process of trying to figure out how to tell someone else's story and the impacts of my own personal pain of growing up queer and struggling with Christianity and trying to tell a story that is quite different from my own. So I start with 2 pages of the kind of original draft of the story as I'm trying to kind of figure it out, and all of a sudden there's a bunch of scribbles on the page, and that's where the comic starts. And it starts with me saying, how do I write this? Draft 1, I turned this comic into a love story. And it's not because I'm a hopeless romantic, it's because I'm terrified about writing the complicated Christian stuff. Yep, time for a redraw. No time to avoid anymore. No time to play nice. Love stories are wonderful, but it's not really the point of this one. Confronting one's demons is an unnerving process. I grew up Catholic. I couldn't reconcile being queer and Christian. It didn't work for me. There were years of pain trying to reconcile the two, and then the ache of having to give one away and deal with the grief. I remember the feeling of losing a sanctuary. Churches shifted from safe havens to houses of anxiety. Ideas that seemed fixed, true, unquestionable suddenly got thrown into chaos. I'm not supposed to love? Or if I do, it has to be a certain way? This doesn't feel right. So I had to walk away. What if I hadn't left the church behind? What if I'd made it work for me? What if I'd realised that the two aren't mutually exclusive? This is my chance to literally redraw the narrative. I feel like the time for me has passed. There's too much pain to undo. So I want to draw someone else's journey in the hopes of healing myself in small ways.